Hello, good evening. Welcome to State of Affairs. We're streaming live on gh1tv.com, and also you can catch all our episodes on my YouTube page and also on GH1 YouTube page. Just search for my name, Nana Abanamo, as well as GH1 TV, and you can see all the episodes that you have missed. Well, welcome to the show. It's a Friday. Today we're not focusing on any constituency. We're focusing on the Tema metropolitan area. So if you live in Tema, your mayor, your MCE will be here. If you have any questions, send them to us. We'll be asking him in the next hour and half or so. In the meantime, here are some stories from reporters. A visit to the new Asuaba market showed empty tents. The State of Affairs team was told the women had refused to patronize the sheds because of lack of funds to pay for the space. Another report by Sagmo Kitete.
Is the Asuaba new market virtually empty. We are told the women are to pay 400 Ghana cedis to have access, but they cannot afford.
A development that should have been good news has turned sour as market women in Asuaba lament they cannot afford the 400 Ghana cedis being charged for the space. This has left the markets empty as most of them have resorted to selling in front of their homes. Mary Danson was the only person selling at the new Asuaba market when we visited at 3 p.m. on Monday.
What's the market in here? When you're my answer, where you're so. The Minquana, Matiani, Mammy back on, so I'm Monday. What's the Yantia Cana, Mintia, a Binimatria? What's a 4 million?
She lived just behind the market, hence she had no option than to use the space which she cannot afford.
And to share 4 million or 400 cedis meeting and grow 4 mahan.
The DCE of Upper West Achim, Derek Bekwe, however, debunked the space was for sale. He explained that the issue was rather about how to fairly distribute the space among the women.
In other stories for this evening, some hawkers on the streets of Accra admit it is not a pleasant experience chasing after vehicles daily. However, they have to make a living. The hawkers opened up to Sewa Ameher about the tedious and risky task of selling on the streets.
Hawkers are increasing traffic intersections by the day, and all manner of items are being sold by them, much to the convenience and sometimes inconvenience of motorists and road users. My question is this what we really want our children especially engaged in? Have we done enough to rid our streets of hawkers? This is a typical sunny afternoon on the streets of Accra. Hawking is a common sight. Most of the hawkers here are women and children. Some of the children told us they only come to sell during vacation periods. 7-year-old Christopher Sewusu is one such child. He lives at Nungwa, a suburb of Accra, but has to come sell sachet water on the Liberation Road, precisely 37.
Namoni ke nuwe telebwa ke ubaho. Fa mami ko ya sham. O madam ba se o madam ke shi mamle ke ubaho ale.
Enye me time obabie.
Fa obabie 8.
Maybe 8. Me time nye ya shia.
Wa ya sham 5.
Sikenye nye na.
Fa shobe kwa na 8 cedi. Alo 12 cedi.
Desmond Boite is also a child hawker. He lives at Inshorna and alleged he had been sent by his teacher. He comes as early as 7 a.m. and leaves at 4 p.m. Why are you not in school?
We are vacate.
So, who are you selling the water for?
My teacher.
Your teacher?
Yes.
Your teacher from school?
Yes.
And so you give the money to her after you're done selling?
Like when I finish selling the water, he will give me some of the money.
Others like Cynthia Asari were brought from their villages with the hope of continuing their education but came to meet otherwise.
My sister.
What sister when he?
Oh, Baku.
Oh, Baku. It's only when it's
Felicia Ansa is an 18-year-old hawker on the Achimota High Street. She came from Krachin Kwanta in the Volta region to Accra 10 years ago.
Almost 10 years. I was selling every day.
Felicia lives in a small hairdressing container at the Achimota Old Station and tells us she has to do this to create a better future for herself.
I want to be a soldier, but my uncle screen is mama. The same is hairdresser. No, but I don't have any choice.
For most of the hawkers we spoke to, it was not their wish to leave their homes to come chasing vehicles. However, they have to survive, help feed their families.
That was a report by Sewa Amehe. Now before we take a break and also bring on the mayor for Tema, here is our countdown to the election later this year by Benefson.
The EIB Election Hub. Expect more.
You want to find out how you can help your party? Not by lying, but in a more constructive way. Well, it is said that if you give two people ingredients to cook the same food, it will never taste the same. A way to help your political party is to just go around on weekends, attend funerals, parties, weddings, or social gatherings, and find out if you're in a position, like if you're an MPP supporter, find out what the NDC are saying. If you're an NDC supporter, find out what the MPP people are saying against your party. You may not be in a position to counteract them, but let your party executives know. It will be factored in because every constituency has its own way of campaigning. Try and get the facts. So if somebody says, if an MPP supporter, and then somebody says that, oh, your party, there's disunity, and that if there is unity, how can power be handed over to you? Can you unite the whole country? You have to find ways and means to also counteract them. That look, there is unity in MPP, NDC has also suffered it. If you're an NDC supporter and MPP people will tell you that, look, the NDC government has been incurring debts and that you're not doing anything. You, the NDC supporter, can also find out data from your NDC executives in the area that you are incurring debt. There's no even the American government has incurred debts. But it's how you put the debt to use that benefits people. So, as an NDC supporter, you can also argue that look, the debts that are being incurred are being used for roads, which will facilitate transmission of food to the area to bring cheaper prices and improve cost of living. So these are little ways. You don't help your party by insulting others. You don't help your party if they tell you that, look, let's go and make noise, let's go and throw stones. I've said and I'll repeat, if you are NDC, MPP, CPP, or even PPP, PNC, your executives come and say, look, let's go, there's going to be a rally, let's go and make noise. Please tell them to bring their children, nephews and nieces. They think you are expendable. Because if they get money or free tickets to go to America or Britain or even Senegal for holidays, will they bring it to you? They don't respect you. By even coming forward to tell you that, they're insulting you. Turn the insults back to their faces. Crowds, billboards, they have limited effect. See, the area where huge crowds frighten people is gone, because people have seen that people can be bashed. If you go and ask somebody who's working and the person gets is paid 5 cedis a day or 10 cedis a day, the person is in Accra, he hasn't gone to Cape Coast before, or he hasn't gone to Kofredua or Ho before, and you tell the person, you have a rally in Cape Coast, here's a t-shirt, here's some takeaway food, let's go, and I'll give you 20 cedis an hour 10. Definitely, if you're the person, you jump. You've hired a crowd. People have known people can be bashed, so the size of huge crowds have virtually diminished their impact. Posters and billboards, their impacts are very minimal, because at any given time, a government of the day can afford more billboards, more posters, and so on. But if you consider that in 2000, the incumbent NDC government lost power to the opposition MPP. In 2008, the governing MPP lost to the opposition NDC. Then you have an idea that billboards and posters have a minimal effect. For example, we have elections in November 7th. Why do you make billboards in January or posters in January? 8 months, 10 months before, rain will fall, remove them. If somebody has donated for you free, keep it. Then 2 months to time, inundate your constituency with your poster if you're a parliamentary candidate. That is what I think you will need to do and understand it. Otherwise, just forget it, because by within 2 months, 1 month, everything will be done. So yes, they're important, and the monies and billboards are not cheap. Posters are not cheap. Rather, help give your people who campaign motorbikes, give them bicycles, help them with transportation to go, like we said before, let them argue, explain. But we do a billboard, if you are part by the way, the billboard talk to you, or the poster talk to you. Money is difficult to come by. Use it wisely. Have a good weekend, and God bless.
The EIB Election Hub. Expect more.
Welcome back to the show. This is State of Affairs, streaming live on gh1tv.com. So just in case you're not at home yet and you think you're missing, well, just stream it live wherever you are. If you're in traffic, though, if you're driving, I would advise you don't. Also, if you want to see the last episode of the show, it is on YouTube already. Yesterday, if you didn't tune in to the broadcast from the British High Commissioner's house, then you really, really missed. But I want to believe a lot of you watched that. But if you missed it, it is on YouTube already. Well, last week, Friday, we, of course, focused on Tema East constituency. And the NDC MP failed to show up, but the NPP MP, Titus Glover, was here. Tonight, last week, he raised a lot of key problems and issues and questions in the constituency, as well as questions from a lot of you. But, of course, the MP could not answer all of those questions. So tonight, we've brought your MCE here in the person of, what's the name again? Let me get that one. Ashai Odampton, Isaac Ashai Odampton, I got it right. He's the mayor for Tema. You're welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Nanaba.
How are you doing?
Great. And let me say a very good evening to cherished viewers. It's you have a wonderful place, and it's a delight to be here.
Anyway, thank you. That's complimentary. All right. So last week, as I mentioned, Titus Glover was here. He's your friend.
Yeah, he is. We've been friends from back in the days. But Nanaba,
you had some problems at
not
some
at
point.
all.
You didn't?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay.
I don't know why there is this fixation about problem. I think we must understand the work we do. And so once you know your way around, once you know what you're about and you are focused on what you do, you think these things are necessary. They are part of your working environment. And so when people are not getting what they want, you must explain to them. You should be able to explain to them why they would get. But
do you have generally have do you have cordial relationships with the MPs in your?
Yeah, largely very, very cordial. Largely very cordial. Okay. I don't think we have a problem.
Any major problem at all. Anyway, so I want to start off with sanitation in Tema. A lot of the concerns we've received so far bothers on sanitation. I mean, I personally spoke to people in Tema, my friends who live in Tema, and everybody seemed to talk about sanitation. Where have you reached in an attempt to rid the city of filth? Because we hear several parts are engulfed in filth.
Thank you for this, but let me just apologize for the last edition. I think it is not right to say that the NDC rep or the PC did not. Circumstances beyond his control contributed to his inability to
How else could I have put it? That if he didn't show up, he didn't show up.
Anyway, but at least he's one person I've known is always interested in appointments, and that was a lapse. But let me say that the situation in Tema with regards to sanitation, we have always looked at it from the solid waste and liquid waste front. Okay. And so on the solid waste front, Tema is a very defined community, and we ought to also appreciate the fact that it is not only a port city, but it is an industrial city, and because of the heavy activities within the city, we have quite a huge size, a huge tonnage of waste that is generated daily. It is in the wisdom of the current government that we needed an engineered landfill site to shift from the old situation where we had just dung hills across town. Nana, I would always want people to diagnose issues or challenges appropriately. We grew up, and I don't know about you, but I grew up in Tema, and I knew we used to have a situation where we had generous land, and so people woke up in the morning and just went to dump somewhere we call Sumunaso, dung hill. And so there was no issue. Everybody could just go pour, and then when fire is set in there, you have smoke everywhere. And so we didn't realize the environmental challenge until the awakening and the need for better management of our environment. And so then we restricted people from that free access to dump sites, where within the communities they could dump anywhere. And what has been done is to emphasize education and let people realize that we've shifted from the free dumping to managed waste. When I took office, I
How long have you been in office?
Barely 29 months.
Okay.
29 months. Let's say 2.5 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm very proud that within the space of 2.5, we have chalked some great successes.
Okay, we'll come
but
to
on
that.
the waste, we have emphasized education. We were the first assembly to institutionalize monthly cleanup campaigns even before the National Sanitation Day started. And we did that by emphasizing education, doing it with the people, providing logistics, and making sure people got out of their homes to clean Tema. And then we also created the management regime where every community in Tema is assigned to a waste collection company. So we have a franchise service that is handling our waste management. What has happened over the years is one of poor service or suppose poor service from the service providers and non-payment from the
assembly.
No, from the citizens.
From the citizens.
Okay, from the residents.
Okay.
And so when you don't pay, the service provider doesn't get the logistics and is not able to give you that service. So for the past 6 months, we've been doing evaluation of the service providers. You go to Committee 478, you would find that the Waste Management Department has given forms, questionnaire and job satisfaction forms. We are assessing the service providers. And what will happen, we'll just shortlist the performing ones. So far, we know Zoom Lion has been performing very well. They have their equipment, they're on time. I can mention 1 or 2 out of 7 companies operating in Tema, and we would improve the management regime. I would want to use this medium to advise residents that...
This is Tema.
Yep.
This is dirty.
Which part of Tema is this?
I'm not too sure. I'm not very familiar with your area. I mean, Tema is one area that I don't know at all. I'll get lost, but I hear it's Tema New Town.
Yeah.
I mean, this is unpardonable.
No, Nana, but you can't say that, because if you know this area, the community today applauds me, because before, when you cross,
they applaud you for the state.
No, because you see, development has never been an event. It is a process. And so when you see effort, not just effort, but implementation, and you drive close to the Chemu Lagoon, where this is supposed to reflect, it used to be terrible. Today, within the lagoon itself, I am putting 200 meters of concrete lining.
Okay, can we have the pictures again? The pictures from that area. I think we'll get there pretty soon, but go on.
Yeah. And so the area we call the Chemu, before you cross the Chemu Lagoon, you would have met with a very, very unsightly site. Today, it's a different story. One side is completed. The other side, where you see the contractor has started digging. And so the long chain of drums, what you see here is a chain of drums that the contractor has done to carry water across where he's working. This is not a permanent thing. I know this area very well. Now, but if you show this and the person doesn't know, and you make a comment like it is unpardonable, you would not appreciate the work that is going on there now.
But so from seeing this, I'm supposed to appreciate some work that is going on.
A good photographer would have given you the bigger picture and narrowed it onto this.
Picture. Well, it's a good photographer who took these visuals,
it depends
by the way.
on which perspective you want to show.
Okay.
If you just want to say...
But this is in your area.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, fine.
It is.
But looking at it, if anybody sees this picture, where is the bigger picture? You mean that they should have zoomed into where some work has been done and then come to this?
Not necessarily. For me, this wouldn't communicate much. It will only tell a certain story that wants to be told by who.
All of this is part of that area we're talking about.
I don't see this particular place, but if it is where I know, then it's been lying, and I don't know when this photograph was taken.
Just today. This morning.
Just today. Okay.
Yeah. This morning.
There's a place we call Ziggenshaw.
Okay.
And
in Newtown?
In Newtown, very close to this place.
Okay.
And we had about 2.4 kilometers of something like this, which gets choked, okay? Within the less than 30 months I've been in office, I can tell you that in this enclave, we have constructed...
So what we are seeing is actually an improvement?
No, this is a work in progress.
Okay.
But I'm saying that if the photographer took the entire stretch, you would realize the massive improvement that we have made within this short time. And the assurance of the people is that based on what they have seen, they are very confident that Mayor Odampton will deliver.
Really?
You see, when I saw the picture, I told you that it depends on the perspective. Okay. Because I knew what
was there before.
And the residents themselves, yes, they see it. We have not solved the entire problem. But if you look at one stretch, about 1 kilometer of what you saw, which today is lying.
What is stalling the progress? I mean, if you've been in office for almost 30 months, that's almost, what, 3 years? 2.5 years. Pardon me, my math is terrible.
Don't worry.
So if you've been in office for almost 2.5 years, there must be something that is probably stalling progress. Is it the people's attitudes? Is it the lack of funds? Is it that you haven't got time? What exactly is stalling the progress? Because I would have expected that for those who say that you've been a very good mayor, maybe I should borrow President Mahama's word, phenomenal mayor, we want to see something more concrete to agree that, yes, your work has been phenomenal. So what is stopping you from ridding that filth that we saw, that site, very unsightly?
Thank you.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there is anything that is stalling the progress. I think that very good progress is being made.
What percentage?
Given this particular area, I can say that we've chalked about 45%.
Only?
Nanama, you've got to... Nanaba, sorry, I've always made
no,
this...
No, that's okay.
You've got to see the enormity of the challenge to appreciate where we've gotten to.
I totally agree.
Yes, within the entire Tema metropolis, Nanaba, I'm happy to say that we have done in excess of 10 kilometers of drains. And I can say...
How many more to go?
I would want to complete my term, which is 2017, because looking at what President John Dramani Mahama is doing and analyzing our development regimes, I can only see and say that Ghana is back on track. Ghana is back on track. Ghana is back on track because...
Ghana was ever off track?
Yes, we got off track based on the outcomes or where we are today. Today you are talking about a congested Tema. You are talking about a filth reading Tema. You are talking about choke and sanitation issues in Tema. Tema used to be, for us, for those of us who lived in Tema, it was a beautiful sight. Even when you traveled to Community 6, you felt like you were abroad, out of
So
Ghana.
What happened?
That's why I'm saying that Tema is back on track, because we didn't take advantage of urbanization. We didn't take advantage of the growth of the city, and we allowed things to get out of hand, because the city continues to attract. People believe that industries are collapsing in Tema. It is far-fetched, because you have more people being attracted to Tema.
But how did people put in position of power allow this to happen on their blind side?
It didn't happen on the blind side. It's a collective thing. Are you able to say that nobody should come to Tema? No, you can't say that. And so you needed...
But you have bylaws to assist you, don't you?
Yeah,
if these bylaws are working, why would I come to Tema and litter?
No, it's not just about the littering, because
it's just an example.
Yes, but it's a total challenge which has to do with even slum generations.
I'll come to slums very soon.
Okay, so it's a comprehensive challenge. And let me just explain why I think Ghana in general and Tema is back on track. Ghana is back on track because we remember the days where we talk about Akosomo, talk about the motorway, talk about huge industries, even Vaco at the time, and it was all about Nkrumah, and it looks like we went to sleep. But we must commend former presidents like President John Jerry Rawlings, who in his wisdom saw the need to develop the outskirts of the cities and took electrification very seriously. It was in Jerry's regime that we saw rural electrification projects, and our cities got power, but we were supplying power because Akosomo was generating enough power, and as a nation we were using just about 10%. And so we could send it. That was a massive intervention. Otherwise, this urbanization challenge we are seeing in field and things that could have been worse. And so we can credit His Excellency, former President John Jerry Rawlings. And then we came to Kufuor, who also added to our democratic dispensation and then handed over to a very peaceful Atta Mills, where we saw stability. We say, prosecutions, combat between parties, and you know how the former ministers of the NDC government were taken to court, and Atta Mills comes and stabilizes. And
how's that got? What has all of that got to do with the sanitation issue we're talking about?
Development. I mean, we are talking about
people
development.
Are being prosecuted.
No, we are talking about development and how you can stabilize a country and ensure that development is happening consistently.
So what has the prosecution of people got to do with sanitation?
I'm talking about national stability for development. And
so at the time there was no stability.
No, you needed a president who is calm to create that enabling environment for development to happen.
What are you even saying? That in the 8 years that President Kufuor was in power, there was no stability because they were busy prosecuting people, and so things were just happening haphazardly?
Nanaba,
yes.
Can you imagine a situation where after the first NDC regime of President Gerald John Rawlings and then to Kufuor, the transition happened? At least we all credited President Rawlings for allowing that transition to happen. And it was a great thing he did. Because around that time, Africa was in turmoil because presidents were not willing to leave power. No, I'm building that point. And Anaba, it's important that we understand that development thrives. Development becomes consistent.
I'm struggling to understand where you're coming from. Because I need to understand your trajectory, but you're not helping me.
Okay, I'll help you.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. You're saying that development is a process. We all know. Thanks for the theory tonight. We know. But if you're saying that President Kufuor's regime or his administration was prosecuting people here and there, I'm asking you a question about sanitation and what has stalled the attempt to rid Tema of filth. But you're bringing in President Kufuor, his regime, and the prosecution of ministers, ex-ministers. My question is, did that affect development in Tema in any way? Where is the nexus between that statement and sanitation in Tema? That is all I'm trying to establish here.
Yeah, and let me make it clearer for you.
Okay.
Tema is the industrial hub and is the port city.
Okay.
Let me leave. My emphasis was not on prosecution. My emphasis was on transition.
Okay.
And the transition between Kufuor and President Mills was a transition that brought peace and stability. That was the point I was making, okay? But we can credit all past governments with some contribution to national development. Right. But the way in which it happens, and I'm saying that if in Atta Mills's regime, we got ourselves busied with chasing people and going into the cobwebs, we would have missed out on development.
So we missed it out in between 2000 and 2008?
What happened in President John Dramani's first year of office? It was one of limbo. Because we're in court. Somebody will not take the resource. So if that happened, industries would not be willing to invest. Because you have to be sure what the political stability of the country would be. Nanaba, the point I'm making is that we have had stability and now we've gone back on track, and we can see a precedent in President John Dramani Mahama dealing with the bigger issues like Nkrumah did. And that is why Tema is also now beginning to look at the bigger issues. The issues about sanitation, as you saw, for me, these are minor things.
These are things that your people consider very important. It is not minor to them.
They are minor to the extent that I have enough provisions to deal with them. And they have seen what we have done in 30 months. They have seen it. I just explained to you that one side of the drain, yes, there's a good capture. You see that this place used to be like what you saw first. What you see there is laterite that we have put, the contractor has put there. If your photographer showed you this and juxtaposed this with what you saw first, then you appreciate. I thought he would even show the other side. One side of this drain you see is completely lined within my term. When you are working in waterlog, when you are working in a lagoon, it's a difficult job, but we have done it. The community appreciates what we have done. It's not about somebody taking a shot of refuse somewhere and coming for me to panic. I don't panic at all.
This is all your area.
Yeah, these are settlers.
It takes me to the next issue, slums.
Yeah.
Nana,
but you can look up there and you can see that we have lined about 100 meters.
Where?
Okay, the left. It's a fresh lining from the building you see up there on your left. The right is
What
happening.
is a lining?
Lining,
Yeah.
concrete, let's say concrete wall.
Okay.
This side, where you see on your right, it's not lined. That's why you saw those garbage and things. And I'm telling you that I have enough program to deal with this issue.
How soon will you deal with these
The contractor is there working.
But how soon? I'm sure you've given the contractor a deadline.
Yeah.
When will this job be completed?
I expect that in the next 100 days. Actually.
100 days?
Yes. And the reason why that side has not been completed was I had to stop the contractor to get the power barge, which was coming just close to this point.
I understand it's very close.
Yeah, you would find the towers that are holding. So I had to stop the contractor for the towers that would take the pylons from the power barge to be worked on.
So he's back at work?
He's back at work.
And work will be completed in 100 days?
I am so happy to be serving. And I'm happy to be serving under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The people of Tema would see the difference. They know what we have done. And so they will not panic. They know Mayor Ashai will deal with this challenge.
Okay. I see. So if you're in Tema, I want to know if you are impressed so far with the work your mayor has done, your MC has done in Tema. For those of you living in Tema and for those of you who visit Tema very often, would like to know. I'm one person who will get lost in Tema any day, any time. I just can't get it around my fingers. Anyway, let's talk about slums in Tema. I mean, that was a well-planned city. I understand slums are coming up as fast as the speed of light.
Yeah, it's a global phenomenon, and today Slum Dwellers Global is a very formidable body, and world over we are taking steps to deal with the issue of slum. And so under one of our programs, which I am a key member, Cities Alliance, and under Cities Alliance, I have been blessed to be part of a program we call Future Cities Africa. Future Cities Africa is looking at slums in general. But in Tema, we have identified the main city slums to be about 5. And then we have the makeshift slums, which we don't intend to sustain. Okay? If you squat on somebody's land, what it means is that you are temporary. Once the owner of the land comes to develop, you would be no more. But that creates a transfer of slum. Then they move from one place to the other. What we have done is to identify the 3 slums that we can, through government support, provide them with slum improvement, affordable housing. And this we have been so committed to that we have registered with the Ministry of Finance, Public Investment Division of the Ministry's PPP unit. And once we have gotten it to that extent, we have also gotten the slum dwellers themselves to give us some commitments. And the commitments have come with a strong support and a strong off-taker arrangement, so that some of them are willing to even contribute for us to do single-room apartments for them so that we can scale up and take more people. What it is that when you enter a slum, there are 3 things you would find. The communal living, the way in which they want to live close to each other, and then the seemingly easy access to the shacks in which they live, and then ultimately the general security. They offer themselves security, but it poses security challenge and even sanitation issues. And so these 3 things we have analyzed. And what we are saying is that a place like Comte 5, we need to change the housing scheme there and do simple single-room apartments, in 3 stories. So we break part of them, build, and then put them back into it. We have
that is a plan.
Yes, which I'm saying we have registered with the Ministry of Finance. So from now, if you probably we are not talking about that's not slum, but that is a whole package that has gotten us to register 15 projects, and the slum improvement is one of that. And the slum improvement component has 3 phases: one in Newtown, one in Comte 3, and Comte 5.
Okay, so until this plan takes off, and I hope it does take off, until it takes off, what is happening to the slums that are coming up every day in Tema? I mean, I know there is a challenge, and it's not just peculiar with Tema. It is across the country, across the world, actually. But what are you doing so far until this plan you talk about kicks in?
Yeah, now we have a program to say slum no more. So those that are already there, we allow, okay?
You allow the slums to be there?
No, those that are already there, we have allowed. But
when you say you've allowed, what do you mean? That you leave them? You leave these slums to be there?
Yeah, slum no more. But if the slum is interfering with other development, we clear. And a typical example is what we did in Site 2, Site 20.
Which one is that?
It's in Committee 1.
Okay.
Once anybody who lives in Tema would know that place. We cleared that place so that we can bring development there to better serve the Site 2, Site 20 community with a much bigger economic activities, because they can now serve more vehicles there. The other thing is that there are some slums that are dwelling on people's land. And so we have also gotten the register of the landowners, and we are interacting with them to ensure that they develop their land. Because if you don't develop, you open the place up for people to stay there. And the ones that are at places that do not interfere with public right-of-way, are not posing immediate challenge, they are the people we are planning the slum improvement project.
What have you done to discourage this?
You see, Nanaba, the issue of discouragement is what I say slum no more. So we have our task force going sometime, but when you start, by the time you come the following month, we've just broken it, okay?
But they come back.
Yeah, they come back.
So it is not a deterrent.
The parable says that when the sower sowed at night, someone would go, because the other side of it is that it becomes very difficult to maintain.
These people are probably not afraid of your task force. They're not afraid of the bylaws. They're not afraid of you. They do not care. They know that they will still find a place to be.
No,
what would be your response to
No,
that?
they care. You know, we should understand also the feelings of our brothers and sisters who find themselves in the slum. And not many people would want to leave. And so I believe that if we improved their condition, they will be much happy, or they may be happier.
But their conditions have not been improved.
Yeah, but that is where I give you the assurance that places where we have to make interventions, we are making. Where we think they interfere with other people's rights, they interfere.
Because you sit here and you talk glowingly about this administration. So if these people who are coming from wherever to settle illegally on people's lands were being catered for in their regions, were being provided with the right jobs, they wouldn't come here. So if day and night you're seeing people moving to Tema, here, task force clears, the next day they're there, the next day they're here, and more people are coming in, it is not as rosy as you make us think, is it?
It depends on how you are looking at it.
I'm looking at it the way you want to
No,
look
I
at
will
it.
look at it as an opportunity.
You probably
let me cite
refuse to look at
no,
it.
No, let me say, no, I will refuse. I know it's a challenge. When I go to see them living in those conditions, it affects me too.
Right.
I don't want to see them in that challenge. But let me give you this example. Nanaba, today, government recognizes the housing gap. All you see about slum is about housing gap. Okay, and so government has committed resources to complete the Boteman housing project under SNIT.
The slum dwellers will be living there. They would have the money to buy any of those houses, even though we've been told that they are affordable. Is that what you're saying? That these people, the parents of these children, this woman there, will be able to buy any of the units at Boteman. That is what you're telling me?
If a resident in Temamanya who lives in the compound house in Temamanya, which is much cheaper, improves his status, which most of us have done, we move into Boteman. We find Boteman much better. We move there and we create room within the Temamanya community for the slum dweller.
That is your plan?
No, it's not a plan. It's natural. Naturally, as your status improves, you want a better facility.
But have the status of the people there improved? It comes back to it.
Yes, many people are moving from the low income dwelling and taking, and so let me tell you, in Committee 1 Site 3, TDC has put up 64 apartments.
How affordable are these apartments?
And the answer is in this. 1,124 people have applied, and they are willing to take them.
How much
I don't need to tell you that.
Well, I need to know, because if you say it's affordable and we don't know the people who have applied for it, we don't even know the age brackets, we don't know what their income levels are. So if you tell me that a unit by the TDC you talked about is going for 30,000 Ghana cedis, 25,000 Ghana cedis, or even 5,000 Ghana cedis, then the people can judge how affordable it is, because 30,000 cedis I might find very, very expensive. You never know. I mean, you smile as though I'm blessed with so much money. I probably can't afford it.
I didn't say that.
Is that why you looked at me?
But that is how we have hypotheticized everything.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the reality of these affordable houses. I mean, it's a very nice view. You see all of these developments coming up, and it's a nice view. But if the reality is that the living conditions of these people are not improving, and you have over 1,000 people applying, do you even know who these people are? Are they Ghanaians? Where do they work?
Life is not about you providing for everyone. Otherwise, you
cannot
laziness.
do that.
Okay, it's about creating the enabling environment.
Right.
So my answer to all your questions is simple. We are making housing available.
Okay.
We would definitely, and they are not empty. There is no apartment that government has built that is empty. So once people take up those places, it frees some other areas.
And then the slum dwellers will move in.
Yeah, some people will definitely move in.
Okay.
Some are there by default. Not that they don't have money. Look, I don't want to share this, but let me tell you this.
Go ahead, please.
You go to some of the slums, and they use 48-inch plasma television. They use every modern gadget that you would find an affluent or a middle income class.
Your point is?
My point is that some of them are there just by default, and if they had better accommodation, they would move.
Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Unfortunately, we cannot stay on that particular issue for so long, but quite connected to that one is the inadequate housing, well...
Bring it up.
Yeah,
inadequate
housing.
And this is where I talked about the transformational ideology of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Look, we've had Boteman housing hanged for over 10 years. We've had the affordable housing in Poon hanged for over 7 years. These projects today are being completed. Go to Poon Affordable, you would find completed painted housing. We are bridging the housing gap. And the good news is this. President John Dramani Mahama in Sagleme has started a 5,000 housing project. 1,500 and over is complete. Look, let's admit that if you show me those drains which are not lined, you must show me, yes, these are the housing.
You see, you were going to say you must show me we brought it to you. Now you've got an egg on your face. There you are. It's there.
No, I was even referring to the other one. Okay. Because, you see, sometimes we pose the questions as though today, every challenge in every nook and cranny of the country... You
promised us a better Ghana agenda. You've been in power for 8 years.
No, we've not been in power for 8
years. The NDC government has been in power for almost 8 years, haven't you?
If you say almost, you are changing it.
No.
You said 8 years.
8 years in December.
One.
Or January. In January.
But 8 months. Was in limbo.
That is becoming a very familiar excuse that because we're in court,
no,
the country was not. The country, it's becoming a very familiar.
But I can tell you that within the 30 months I've been in office in Tema specific, no administration has delivered anything from drain to school blocks to anything. Name it.
And who's to blame?
No, I'm telling you, we are doing it. We are not blaming.
No. You said 8 months. You were in limbo. That's what you said, right?
No, we've moved. And I'm telling you that in spite of that challenge, within the 2.5 years I have been in office, the development that has happened in Tema is unprecedented. Look at Committee 16, Lashibi, Def Traco Road. The road is done, asphalted. Okay. Today, from Ashaiman Underpass right to Nungwa, the road is receiving attention, is almost complete. These are...
Was that the same Ashaman Road that got the drivers protesting a few years ago?
Yes, but if you look at the...
It was that one,
yes,
wasn't
it was that one.
Okay.
Today, if you look at
So you had to be pressured?
No, it's not about pressure. That's why I'm saying that our questioning...
Pressured and threatened.
Our questioning should not be as though development must happen, boom, once, and then everywhere is developed.
We know development cannot happen, boom, once.
Yeah.
But if you come in, promising us glasses of champagne, expensive champagne, and you end up giving us some cheap brand, we'll complain. Yeah. I'm not saying that you're providing us with anything cheap, but I'm saying that we know development takes time. But if you say you're giving us a better Ghana agenda, and for 8 years, people are still battling poor sanitation in Tema, then we have every right to ask you these questions.
But the people in Tema, of course, you see...
Your people in Tema talked to me. They talked about sanitation.
No, but don't forget that we are in a political season, and I've always said that
these people were without color. They are just talking about issues that affect them. And I don't think they were thinking about NDC, NPP when they were providing me with their concerns. So Akoko Sachira Kroma, the one you're going to say,
yes,
and that one will be unnecessary in this discussion.
No, I disagree with you. Because you see,
you feel the people who spoke to me are NPP.
No, I haven't said that. Okay. Why did you rush to even mention
Because that's
NPP?
what you say. That and you say we're in a political season.
Yes, but I didn't mention. Why did you mention NPP?
And because, well, you started
because
off...
you know it yourself.
No, because you started off by saying that 8 years they were chasing people, prosecuting them. That's why.
Yeah, that was part of it. But let me tell you that the very people living close to what you show, if you went to them and asked them about the state there, they would tell you that, we have seen development here. It's not gotten to our turn. But you saw that drain was even cleared. Where you saw the refuse. You saw that we have desilted that place. All that we have is, I cannot put every resources into just one activity. We are doing...
Where are you putting the rest of your resources?
Oh, it's very spread across our 8 thematic areas. And I think fairly...
Before you go on, would you be able to tell the housing deficit in Tema?
I would rather say that it's an opportunity, given what I've seen at Site 3, that we have just 64...
What does it mean, it's an opportunity? Meaning that the situation is bad?
Yeah, a lot more people want housing in Tema. And Tema population, resident...
What's your population at the moment?
It's about 320,000.
Okay.
But Nanaba, we work with about 750 people because of what we call the float population. You have many people who trek into Tema every day, either to the port and some of them stay overnight. And in the process, once they can pet somewhere, they try to create settlement. Okay.
Let me take a break. I'm sorry, I have to cut in here rudely, but I have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the lack of street lights in Tema that is contributing to crime.
Sure.
Okay, and so we'll also talk about young adults engaging in commercial sex activities.
Sure.
Okay. Unemployment, we understand there's a spike in youth unemployment. Defective, inadequate fire safety measures. The rest of it, I'll let you know when we come back.
Great.
But don't cook up answers.
That
was just by the way.
But that is not fair.
Don't mind me. I'm just pulling your legs. Don't mind me. We're taking a break, but before we go, let me take a look at some of the responses you've been sending to us. And Tema people are using a lot of internet tonight. They are talking a lot. Daniel Osei says, please tell the mayor that we all know Tema. This is where we live, and Tema is in a mess now, and our woes are being worsened by this administration. Mensa Foley says, I live in Site 2, Community 6, is it?
Site 2, Community 1.
Site 2, Community... He says 6. I'm not sure what he means by that, but Site 2, Community 6. And I can assure you that the mayor has done tremendously well in Tema, far better than his predecessors attempted to do. Okay. Saint Viltus says that I live in Ashaiman. Please forget about what the mayor is saying. They're all lies. They haven't done anything. There's no improvement in assignment. We, the youth, are still unemployed. What have they done? I can't wait to vote them out. Well, Mr. Winter says, well, today I got the chance to watch our State of Affairs, and Doomso visited me. Well, poor you. You can watch it on YouTube later. Probably you would even hear what I'm saying. Papani Musa says, I live in Tema Newtown. Nanaba, what you saw is actually the fact. Filth has engulfed all of us. I hardly even see the mayor in this area. You don't go to Tema Newtown. Your people don't see you.
I could cause such a chroma and
How? If you've done something and this guy is impressed, he will say it.
No, but I go to Tema almost every week. So you see, anyway, I don't want to comment about this.
Pipe down, pipe down. Larry says, Nanaba, congratulations to the gentleman in the studio. I live in Tema. I must say that he's done a good job. So far, so good. Well, Abena Intiakon says that Nanaba, tell the mayor, yes, he's done some work, but more has to be done. We are sick and tired of empty promises. All he said is, we will be doing. Tell us what you have done. Well, I think he outlined a few things. That he's done.
But I agree that there's more to be done. And that's why I make reference to my 4-year term, which would end 2017. And they would see the difference. I'm promising 6 modern industrial city basic schools in Tema. I've started 4 of those. It's not just a promise, but we have started.
All right. Na Ashifo says that, Nana, I live in Tema, and the mayor has done very well with our markets. There have been some improvements in our markets, and congratulations to him. But he should put in more effort. Well, that goes to you. Lotebu Amajionu says, Nanaba, thank you for bringing our mayor to your studio. Please ask him why our stadium is so horrible. We'll be talking about the stadium as well very soon. By the way, talk about stadium. Have you seen the Cape Coast Stadium? Yeah, Iguafu, Yewukrum. We'll be back after this, so do stay with us.
JJ Rawlings, and you're watching State of Affairs on GH1.
Welcome back, and I'd like to acknowledge all the tweets and the messages that are coming to me from our friends and family in Tema. I truly appreciate them. Your MCE is still here, and so we'll go straight to the next issue. You want us to think about street lights.
Yeah, our policy...
Why do you have inadequate street lights?
Our policy in Tema Metropolitan Assembly is street lighting for beautification and for security. So we don't see street lights as only installations that would just lighten the city or brighten the city, but also to provide security. Nanaba, somewhere last year, we had contributed 1,500 street lights within the first year of my office. Then the power challenges set in. So I remember having a discussion with Electricity Corporation of Ghana, and they said that that was also having a toll on the power situation. So we quickly had to change and then emphasize the community police post. So as we speak now, we are done with about 6 of these police stations. We are making them functional. This year, we are likely to put up 8 more. 4 are already pledges that I've gotten the Tema people through an event I call Mayor's Ball. And let me invite you to the next Mayor's Ball.
What do you do there? You dance?
No, we just invite corporate Tema and well-meaning people to come and discuss development. Then we choose one serious challenge and we deal with it. Okay. So last year we dealt with water, and that's how come Tema General Hospital now has a dedicated line that is giving water. And if I'm to document what we do in Tema, I'm sure because of the enormity of the challenge, people will always
My interest right now is street lights.
Yeah, so as I've said, now that the power situation is stable, we advertised last year for 500 street lights. And so we'll be doing targeting. The communities should rest assured that for us in Tema, we will take street lights in serious. No, already we have 500 in. We have 500.
500 already erected?
No, we've done 1,500.
Okay.
The ministry
But still insufficient.
Yes, and I'm saying that we've procured 500, which is we are going to put up very soon. And then by
how soon? Next week, tomorrow?
Oh,
next
no, they've
month?
started. In fact, they've
started
actually started. Yes, the first 250 came, and the engineers are fixing them. Okay. But obviously, Tema is big. And so if some particular community doesn't get they may still think that there's no street light. Besides what we are doing, we've written to the Ministry of Power, you know, and they're going to support us with the beach road through the harbor to the Paradise Beach. So that is also something.
Okay, but during the time of the energy crisis, why didn't you go solar?
You know, that needs a bit more investigations, because you see, we tried it. If you remember, on the Abattoir road, we had some solar lamps there. The lux levels are not too good, and what must happen is to get a bank, you know, which would store enough so that when at night the lux level goes, there will be augmented.
That shouldn't be a problem?
No, it is. It's a major investment, and so some of these things you have to.
But you have the resources. You have the wherewithal.
No, Nana, but you know, I think we should use this opportunity to also appeal to residents in Tema to be responsive.
But well, you have a lot of industries in Tema. Yeah. So why aren't they contributing?
We are improving. I can say that we are improving in terms of their contribution.
Because I understand that the last time Titus Glover was here, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Tema East, he said that in the past, the industries were helping, but now they're going through economic turmoil. So things are tough for them, and that's why they are not helping as much as they want to. They've cut their support.
I'm not sure he's supposed to be a member of the assembly, but if he was participating in the assembly activities, he wouldn't make that comment. Because the police post in front of the Tema General Hospital was wholly financed by industry. We didn't spend a dime. And I'm telling you, 4 police posts are going to be constructed wholly by philanthropists and industry. So
the industries are still helping?
We are engaging them. I mean, recently we got 1 whole kilometer stretch of road sealed. Okay. With the support from VACO. Okay. Who can say industries are not helping? Obviously, they were challenged, but the relationship is perfect. Last week or so, we were in the industrial, a visit to Leroy. I have a program now where I visit the industries to hear from them, first-hand information, what interventions they need. In that process, we're still going to get support to work on
What are some of the interventions they're looking for?
In the industrial area, they have challenges with security, and so we're going to have
so security is a general problem.
Yeah, it is, Nanama, it is, especially for Tema, because of the peculiar, you know, demographic, you know, structure of Tema. The port attracts a lot of people, the industrial enclave attracts a lot of people, and the developed community, you know, Tema is a planned community. People talk about Tema is in shambles. I mean, sometimes we need to situate things in perspective. I am interested in the lives that are dwelling in the slums, but still Committee 6 is perfect, except that we have to prevent slums from getting into those communities. So street lights is going to improve tremendously now that the power situation is good.
Is it good now?
Very, very good.
The lights are actually off now.
Oh, why?
We are running on a generator at the moment.
Yes, but Nana, see, we should be able to.
I was just giving you a piece of information.
No, but I mean,
I'm not asking you to ruminate on it.
No, but Nana, you can't say it in passing and leave it
like that. It was just by the way.
But I must also put on record that this is the only government that has improved the generation capacity to 3,500.
I see.
This is the only government.
The 8 months in course didn't affect it.
Of course.
But during those 8 months,
for us.
Were we not paying taxes? So we were not completely in limbo. We're paying our taxes.
You see, the reason why you must understand the impact of that is how investors react to some of these things. Don't forget that Ghana is touted for our political stability. So any activity that seems to challenge our political stability sends a certain...
court. I mean, that sends a clear signal that we respect the rule of law.
Maybe I would need a one-on-one session another time to make you understand the impact.
I do understand. You mean to skew my mind to something else?
No, I only bring that up for you to see the excellence of President John Dramani Mahama.
Or to appreciate another excuse?
Not at all.
Okay.
We are not making excuses.
Okay.
For me, I won't sit here and talk about a single thing I have not done.
Okay.
Because I know if you go to Bankuman, there was no single drain. I have done 6.9 kilometers of drain in Bankuman.
My auntie just sent me a text.
Yes.
She lives in community 24.
24 is the new developer around Ajay Kojo.
Okay.
Yeah.
She seems to think that you're a fantastic mayor. I don't know why.
My assurance to her is that it will get better.
Okay.
It will get better.
I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just by the way. What is your relationship between, what is the relationship between you and Pioneer Food?
Between us and Pioneer, we have always provided a constant check on them in terms of their compliance to environmental issues.
I hear they pollute a lot.
It has always been
air pollution.
It has always been the mantra of the Tema East MP. And you see, the way in which...
It is not a mantra from Tema East MP. I'm telling you what people have told me in the messages I'm getting. And everybody seems to be talking about Pioneer Food and how they pollute the air.
They do.
And the stench that emanates there each time you drive into that neighborhood. So it is not the Tema East MP's mantra.
No, Nanaba. I just said here that...
Oh, by the way, he says he's going to sue them. Are you aware?
He's done it before. He said it before. You know, if you want to incite people, if you want to incite people to achieve a certain end, that same dagger would affect you.
Titus does not incite. I mean, if people are living in such stench.
Nanaba, we have just acknowledged that Tema is an industrial city.
Yes.
Okay. Industries work with machines. Okay. And so, are you presupposing that because I am the city
boss,
mayor,
yes.
okay, and so...
But does that stench that emanates there daily affect
no, it's not,
you?
Yeah, it does, because I go
I mean, it worries you.
Yeah, it worries me. But I must provide the enabling environment for my residents and for my industry.
Have you provided?
Yes, and that's why I have a regular check on them. There have been a number of occasions where the quality of the fuel they burn to run their machines have created smoke. Okay, and we have immediately gone in and asked for some remedial measures to be done. Number two, because they deal with fish, and fish, when it stays, it will. Right. They needed to process their equipment, and I have my NADMO and Environmental Health Department provide constant surveillance with them, and we engage them. So what happens is that their treatment facility sometimes fails, and once it fails, they are supposed to record so that when my men go there, they will be able to address the situation. The people of Tembaman here, you are my people, and I take your concerns. We would ensure that anything that affects your life are dealt with. Recently, I got complaints about the car power ships, fumes emanating from there. We have since gotten closer to them. What we ought to do is to create the good environmental platform for industries to comply and for citizens to have a meaningful life devoid of pollution. Okay,
now let's talk about this issue about commercial sex on the rise in Tema. Is it really the case? Is it true?
I have no empirical evidence, but I see
people seem to think that it is growing because of the staggering figures of unemployment.
I think world over, these things are related. They are directly related. If you have high unemployment, crime and such social deviations would also occur. But the way in which we would want to describe it is one that would need all of us to get involved. And I want to commend the police service in Tema, because we have done regular sweeps, and this is of concern to us at MESEC level. So the Metropolitan Security Committee has a task force that is dealing with this, and we don't normally blow the leads on how we move, but I guess that we are firmly in control, except that it is taking another turn, where people don't stand by the roadside, but they offer easy relationship.
How?
Okay. Of course, the way in which we define commercial sex workers will be those who are in the motels or those small or those who at night avail themselves at the pubs and things like that. But I think that is changing, and so we need to emphasize the communal living, family life more to deal with the challenge. Because Nanaba, if someone is a commercial sex worker and you met the person in town in the day and you got attracted to the person, ideally relationships must be built with some knowledge, some family. But that may not be the case. You may not know that the person is already selling that professionally. So that is what I'm talking about.
Okay, before we take a break, can we talk about the Tema Stadium? Which team do you support?
I'm a Accra House of Folk fan.
Ah, right.
And
you have a team in Tema, though, don't you?
Yeah, we have
Inter-Allies?
a team in Tema. Yeah, we have Inter-Allies play in Tema, but we have Tema Youth and we have Amedao's professionals. And I also
Tema Youth is in the league.
Yeah, they are not
in the first league. They are in the second. Okay, but
Inter-Ally is in the first.
Okay.
Inter-Ally is actually supposed to be Accra based, but they adopt Tema as their center. But for me, all
let's
the
talk about
teams,
the stadium.
Even, the Tema Sports Stadium as is, I think we have delayed in redeveloping it, but today we have an opportunity to do it under a bigger project we call the Point of Return.
Okay.
And those of you who recently got wind of the Tema Stadium redevelopment and that 6 billion project, the focus is actually not on
it's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, because the project is not just Tema Stadium. It's actually what we call the beachfront development, the International Convention Center, and the Tema Sports Stadium. Okay. We call it Point of Return. And we've gone far. In fact, we've gone through the Ministry of Finance, we've gone through the Ministry of Local Government, we've gone through the Attorney Generals, we've signed MOU with Transatlantic Company, a US-based company. And this is what gives me joy. And my reference to Nkrumah is this, that Ghana or Tema is back on track, that we can deal with the bigger issues and deal with this littering. They will fall off before you say jack. All these things will be gone because we are
taking forever for them to go there. Because if it's a jack issue, then it stayed for too long to be considered jack.
Countries are built over time. I have advertised 3 big projects. The Come to One market project. Come to One generates a lot of waste because of the size of the market. And now, can you just have a picture of a Come to One market that is built to a 6th floor with maybe a car park on 1 floor, giving more room for car parking and commercial terminal? Can you see that? That is what we have advertised. I'm not talking about things that in just talking. I'm talking about things that we are working on. And that is what gives me joy, that Tema is getting back on track. The point of return, yeah, all this must change. Because if you are in Come to One, there must be a huge place for you to park. And we are leading by example. Because you go to TMA and we are putting up a 4-story office complex to sanitize our office situation and create a better parking environment there. Nanaba, the point of return project, which my predecessor, Kempis Ofosuware, started. He signed the first MOU on the stadium itself. But we've come to expand it because Tema is the city in the center of the world. Anaba, you have a government that has foresight. We must not sell this foresight because there is something good coming. Because Tema is the city in the center of the world, we can market Ghana, and now it has become a national affair. Okay. We started with what we call the Meridian Festival, Merifest. We've done it 2 years. We are calling attention to Ghana, and that is why the point of return project is key. Because when you have
how long will this point of project take?
We are supposed. The technical team came to Ghana last year, and all stakeholders, including the Tema East MP, were present, and we reviewed their first drawing. Okay. So that's why I want you, as journalists, to put things in perspective. Because if you show one side and don't give the people the picture, they may sell that good thing that they would benefit because they've not been made aware.
They live there. So if the good things are happening, we don't have to tell them. They will see it.
You've said it. Yeah. Because when you build SHS, this modern, huge school building, and somebody says they are not seeing it, the community in which it is, they know it, they see it.
Okay, I want to stay on that one. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
But very soon, people would come from everywhere to come and...
Prepare to be entertained. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This year's VGMAs goes live with the cheer, the music, dancing, tongue-twisting rap, and more music from some of the biggest names in the game.
Sarkodie, Stoneboy, R2Bs, EL, Visakebe, Joe Metal, Effia, and many more. Ghana Music's biggest night goes live Saturday, 7th May at the Conference Center. You don't want to miss this one. Call our ticket hotline on 050-395-183 to book your seat now.
The 17th VGMAs is powered by Charterhouse with support from Star Beer. It's who we are. Mentos, Furniture City, our media partners, and proudly brought to you by Vodafone.
Vodafone, power to you.
Unibank, your caring bank. So much care and so much love. All you ever need and so much more. Thinking of you both day and night. We long to see your smiling face. Welcome to Unibank, we care for you. We give the best value, storm of satisfaction, responsive and attentive. We're thinking of you both day and night. We long to see your smiling face. Welcome to Unibank, we care for you.
Unibank, caring for you.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. I'm still here with the mayor of Tema. Thanks for staying with us all this while. There's also the issue, I don't know how you can solve this, but I think it's something that worries me as well. I haven't experienced it in Tema. I hardly go there anyway. But loud, deafening music from moving vehicles, selling products, or offering services. I hear they're called mumume. You know about that?
Yeah.
Well, your people expect you to get rid of them. Defective or inadequate fire safety measures. They expect you to deal with it. Water supply, he says it's improved significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah? And violence and weed smoking gangs. You take them one after the other?
Yeah, the fire safety measures, recently, in less than 12 months, we have opened up a fire station in Tema Manya to deal with the Manya community fire outbreaks. The challenge that we have had there is lack of parking space, and so people congest the roads, and sometimes when we have incidents of fire, by the time the tender gets close, you know, much damage is caused. But through the traditional council, and let me use this platform to appreciate Ni Ajay Kraku II, the paramount chief of Tema. They've been so supportive in educating the community to free our roads, to ensure that the fire station that we have opened there works very well. We have taken deliberate actions on open the fire hydrants in Tema. You recall when the medical stores got burnt, we had a bit of challenge with hydrant. Luckily, the Water Tankers Association, which we control, managed to support. So that has brought the awakening.
We have only 5 minutes
awareness.
to wrap up, so if you can just
the other side, which is to do with miscreant behavior and smoking. I think the issue of urbanization and the fact that Tema is a port city, industrial city, would bring some of these challenges. We are interested in getting people into groups so that we can support. Recently, we got about 60 of guys who either were not organized and maybe sitting to, they say the idle mind is fertile grounds for mischief. We got them, and with the support of the Ghana Navy, we gave them 3 days training. The police will take them through further training. And already we have requests from sections of the community for communal security volunteers. And so these people will be deployed to offer day watching, like volunteer within the industrial area and specific communities that have requested. And we want the Navy to be part of it. We want the police to be part of it. The vision I have is that anybody who wants to work, we should be able to give them some kind of work, something that can engage them. So even within our industrial city basic school program, we are coming up with 1 hour or 2 hours for JHS-bodied people who would want to do pavement bricks, brick molding, because our pavements must be, our road walkways must be paved for health, so that people can walk, people can take fresh air, and then we provide street lights. So I see a tema that is coming up, and those who don't have work now, once they are willing, because Nanaba, don't forget that all this development project, the construction of Come to One schools, is artisans who would work. So they offer job, except that sometimes they are a bit...
You're benefiting from the schools, some of the schools?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How many?
I have one at Tema, which we have started, the new 200 SHS schools. I have one in Lashibi, which we have started.
All right, fantastic. Anyway, before we go, Kwame Asenso says, Nanaba, people even smoke right in front of his office at night.
At night.
Well, he's not there at night.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't dispute that. I wouldn't dispute smoking, because it's a challenge. But the way in which we are managing them, putting them into groups. Recently, we got sites, 19 residents association. But we want to have a program that would make them active, and get them to be integrated in society.
Okay, unfortunately, I'm unable to read all the messages. We've got just 1 minute to go. You have a message for your people?
The people of Tema, it's been good serving you, and my desire is to serve you for us to bridge the development gap together. Rest assured that we are aware of your challenges in the area of Siwa. We are aware of your challenges in the area of street lights, and we are aware of your challenges in solid waste. TMA will work for you. Isaac Ashai Odampton, your MC, will work for you. President John Dramani Mahama is bringing Ghana back on track, and I'm happy to be serving under his administration.
He's bringing Ghana back on track.
Yes, like Nkrumah did. You can't see any phenomenal infrastructural development in our country like Nkrumah did.
So President Mahama and Osagyefo are par? It's
not about comparing, because the regimes, when Nkrumah built Tema, the population was just about 4,000.
Okay.
Today, we are over 300. So you can't compare. I came to meet only 3-story buildings in Tema, Agri Road, Mexico.
But now you have more.
In my 2.5 years, I've put up 4.
You've collected more taxes. You're blessed with more money. So we expect you to deliver more. Thank you very much, Mr. You're honorable, right?
You can skip all that.
Right, so he's Isaac Ashai Odampton, the MC for the Tema Metropolis. Thank you so much for your time this evening. There are so many messages coming in for you. Some who think that you've done a good job, but still patting you on the back and asking you to do more. There are some who think that really you haven't done anything at all. But of course you expect that, don't you?
Yeah, but I'll convince them by the time we get to 2017 end. December 2017.
You'll still be in office?
Oh, yes. I mean, we have shifted from the era where people are bought with money to where people want to see a comprehensive development.
Right. Fantastic. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, my dear Nanaba.
All right. So thank you very much for your time this evening. We'll return on Monday with State of Affairs. Have a beautiful weekend. Whatever you do, enjoy it.